may be seated. Hello and welcome to the Wooster community to this year's Convocation celebration. My name is Erin Guzman, my pronouns are she, her, and it is an honor and a privilege to be with you this morning to mark this place in our journey. We gather here to recognize the beginnings of another academic year. And in this moment, I would like to note that we are on Indigenous land. For over 10,000 years, communities have moved through and cared for the land where the College of Wooster stands today. The Wyandot, Shawnee, Delaware, Miami, Huron, Ojibwe, Potawatomi, Odawa, and many more. Indigenous narrative experiences are a part of the collective history of this place many of us call home, and they are central to our understanding of the Indigenous settler dynamic that continues to shape this country's history, culture, and the land we occupy. The place we now call Wooster, including buildings and the infrastructure that brought most of us here, were created, built, and maintained laborers from many different lands, including African Americans who fled enslavement in the South and violence, immigrants and refugees from the Americas and from all over the world. By acknowledging this complex and sometimes painful history, this gives us an opportunity, and it also calls us to learn more about the community, to build relationships with our local indigenous leaders, how to better care for the land we inhabit, and the pain, and all the beyond. Force of life and breath. In this moment, where we continue to find our footing, the depth and goodness. A community which has been through so much and that sees change as an invitation at positive. A community of people who show up for each other in powerful, profound ways and truly give definition to the concept of home. As we look ahead to this year, we ask for our hearts to be filled, forming new or balancing all the pieces of life's big puzzle. We seek open creativity in how we reimagine our traditions and practices to be more inclusive and accessible for everyone. We wish to honor the journeys we've taken to get here and the places we will be. We hope for the wisdom and the strength that asking for help is okay, and that rest is a radical practice. May our prayers, hopes, dreams, feelings, and intentions be lifted up today and in the days ahead as we have them together. May it be so.
To the 152nd Convocation here at the College of Wooster, I am so delighted to welcome all of you for the start of our year together. Thank you so much to Guzman for the beautiful invocation, and to our Scott Pipers for their wonderful, inspiring music. For those of you who are returning to campus, it is terrific to see you again. To Wooster, we welcome you. Today, we are all missing a treasured member of the class of 2022, Teague Curlis, whose life was tragically lost Tuesday. All who knew Teague remember him as brilliant, determined, funny, generous, deeply committed to the well-being of others and to using his tremendous gifts and hard work to make Wooster and the world. Teague profoundly touched the lives of so many here, and so many are grieving his passing. I ask that we Thank you. Teague made a tremendous impact at Wooster, and he will always be remembered. We hold him and his family and his friends and all who loved and knew him in our hearts as we begin the year. For 152 years, the College of Wooster has come together at the start of every fall term to reflect on the work that we are called to do as individuals in the year. Been here on campus, some have been working or studying from home, some are new to Wooster. Whatever our circumstances, each of our lives has been profoundly touched by loss of the continuing pandemic, although it has affected us differently. And together, the whole community in one place for almost a year and a half. So in some ways, today is truly a celebration as our community regathers and as we have a chance to celebrate who we are as Wooster Scots. And we take this opportunity to reflect on who we want to be in this time, which is so full of joy and possibility, but also of challenge. To inspire that reflection, we have gathered a wonderful set of voices, including our senior class. Stephen Townsell, the Vice President of the Black Student Association and of the Student NAACP. Rondell Mackey, President of Emmy Todd, President of the Scott Council, Surratt, who is Chair of the Committee of Trustees, and Paul Sealing, Assistant Director of Volunteer Engagement, to offer their thoughts on the start of our. Before I invite them to the podium, I want to say just a couple of things. Wooster's history goes back over 150 years. These for all people are enduring. But over this past year, the character of Wooster's community, The strength of this tartan fabric that is woven by amazing individuals nations around is clearer and stronger than ever before. This passed because of the care and dedication of every single person. It was amazing and inspiring and historic. You all were amazing and inspiring, and together you made Wooster history. Wooster faculty have always been committed to the learning and growth of every student. Faculty poured thousands of hours into new ways to teach and research and mentor, learn safely together across miles and time zones, whether they were in Wooster or on. Staff have always nurtured this virus. But this past year, they also built an entire public health system from scratch. They made sure that students were fed and supported and cared for on a campus that they kept clean and running in brand new ways. And they built systems for us to use technology to communicate and meet and teach and engage and learn remotely when we needed to. And of course, Wooster students, you Wooster students, have always learned and competed and made new art and science and added to the world's understanding through and made community together. But last students did that through tremendous disruption across miles and time zones, through obstacles of every kind. The work that everyone did this past year was amazing and a testament to this community. But even more, the community itself. Though we were isolated, I heard stories every day of the ways people were looking out from one another, checking in on someone, lending a hand, writing a note of support. These moments of connection changed people's days and lifted their hearts in ways that were lasting. Worcester people, kind, caring, creative, wise, friendly, open, resilient, and brilliant, and deeply committed to one another. Worcester kept going through this last year because really everyone came together wholeheartedly. And when we look at what the world needs now, we are reminded here what you all make happen here through your learning and dedication matters. This learning that students do here is more important than ever, because as we make our way through this terribly difficult time of racist violence, of pandemic illness, of environmental way through these that grow and flourish here at Wooster are necessary. They're needed. The ability to make sense of those complex issues, to develop deep and innovative ways to solve them, the many ways of knowing in science and history and art, culture and policy with a global perspective, bringing people together of diverse experiences, truth about what is taking place, and to work collectively, urgently, and effectively for change in a more just world. It's what we need right now. And this is what we do at Wooster. We connect people and ideas and new ways of understanding so we can be part of making change for good here on campus and far beyond it. It's been hard to connect over the past year, and we're still in these very difficult times. We're struggling. So as we regather and look forward to the year, I invite you to invest in each other, to invest in this community, to invest in these incredible Wooster people you see around you. So I ask you to take 20 seconds and turn to the person next to you. What do you have for this year? One hope. Yes, you can. It can be that a cloud comes and makes it cooler. Okay. Awesome. So clearly we could keep doing this all day, even all year. And whether you're brand new here or starting your final year as seniors, I encourage you to keep doing that. Find people you don't know and ask them questions. Share your thoughts about this moment or your hopes for the future. Tell people how much you appreciate them. Find out how they're doing. Find ways to collaborate to make great things happen or to support someone who needs it. You all are a crucial part of this extraordinary community. So help to weave that fabric and keep keep it strong so it will carry all of you forward in learning and in life, today and for years to come. Thank you, and go Scots.
Good morning, I'm Provost Lisa Perfetti. At Convocation, we join together the entire Wooster community to look forward to the year ahead. But we also take a moment to reflect on the past year and celebrate some of our achievements. I am delighted to have the honor of the principal accomplishments of faculty, which is promotion. Professors spend many years training to become outstanding scholars and teachers, and they continue over their careers. The last 2 years have been a very difficult time to be a professor. Back in March of 2020, faculty had a year and a half to make their classes as interactive and exciting as they possibly could, even while they faced so much uncertainty in their own personal lives. They had to cancel professional meetings due to travel restrictions, their grant funding was sometimes on hold, and they worked overtime coming up with new policies to benefit students and make things work in our new COVID times. That as a backdrop, let me share with you the joyful news of 3 groups of faculty who have received promotions, and I would ask you to hold your applause until I've finished with all of them. 6 of our faculty members have been granted the honor of tenure. With this honor, the College of Wooster recognizes faculty who have proven themselves to be so excellent as teachers and scholars that we want to hold on to them for years to come. To recognize their new status as tenured faculty, promotion, title of Associate Professor. These faculty are Jordan Biro-Walters, History, Marian Fraser, Mathematics and Computational Sciences, Jonathan Gez, Jennifer Eisen, Biology, Nicholas Mans, Physics, and Elizabeth Regan, Biochemistry and Molecular Biology. A significant milestone for our library faculty is promotion from Librarian 1 to Librarian 2. We are pleased to announce the promotion of Kyle, Digital Curation Librarian, for this promotion. Had 6 faculty members receive the highest distinction from their peers. These faculty were promoted from Associate Professor to Professor, and so their new title is Professor. These faculty are John Valet, Chemistry, Joan Friedman, History and Studies, Drew Pepper, Mathematics and Computational Sciences, Mathematics and Computational Science, and James West, Chemistry and Molecular Biology. Even if you've already clapped, more to congratulate these faculty on their wonderful accomplishments. And finally, I just want to thank and acknowledge all of the faculty and staff who are integral to the learning of our students and a key part of their journey while. And students, we are so glad to have you back and excited to have the campus full of life again. Please support each other, be safe, and enjoy the year ahead. Thank you.
And I'm a senior from Nepal, serving as the president of the International Student Association this year. Today, I'm here to talk about what I think about college. And what I think is that college is pretty expensive. Every time I go back home, people always ask me if studying in the States is worth the amount of money it costs. To tell you the truth, I cannot justify why we consider education a basic human right and then ask for $70,000 every year to get it. And yet, this question is never, thank you, and yet this question is never a simple one to answer, because I can't bring myself to say that everything that I've learned here has not been worth it. And I know that if I also have the resources to send my child to the States, I will. Of course, a big part of the reason why I hesitate to answer is the unique academic opportunities we get at the colleges in the States. But what has been just as significant is the community that exists in this campus and everything we get to learn from our interactions with people that we meet here. For many of us, the campus community will be the most diverse place that we will ever get to live in. We have people from all across the world with all sorts of backgrounds and experiences living in this small space. I hope all of us here today realize just how big of a learning opportunity that is. Being here for 4 years is the one chance we have to try to understand all these experiences that are different from ours. We have chances to learn about why people have the values and the beliefs that they do. We have chances to understand different cultures and identities. We have chances to realize how stereotypes limit us from knowing somebody else. We have chances to understand, empathize, and learn every day. And I know that we have been taking those chances. We're learning every time we meet someone who knows a language that we don't and ask them to teach us a few words. We're learning when we make mistakes in assuming people's identities and make sure we get it right the next time. We're learning when we see people we care about struggle because of injustice and try to understand just how systems work. While we always want to welcome this growth, I also understand that learning every day can be tiring. It's easy to fall back into groups and cultures that make us feel comfortable and we can understand each other without trying too hard. It's nice to be around those who always agree with us, and that's okay. Everyone here is away from home, so we need the comfort of familiarity. The important part is to not get so comfortable that we leave campus without appreciating our differences. While we're here, I hope we don't limit ourselves to our comfort zones. In days where we would just like to observe, we can always attend events like Woo Stories or check out pages like Wooster Threads to hear about the diverse experiences of the wonderful people that fill our campus. Because our community is a snippet of the world, and I'm sure that we all agree that the world needs more acceptance. So when we leave this place, whether it is 9 months from now or later, I hope we leave to create our own spaces where there is a place for everybody who does not intend any harm. Now, going back to the question, is college worth how much it costs? I will always struggle to give out a straight answer. College is expensive, but our experiences here are also priceless. What I do know is that all of us here today have the privilege, financial aid, or student loans to be able to make the most of our time here. So I hope we make the most of the diversity that exists on this campus, and that when we finally step out, we step out all ready to create a world that is more welcoming for everyone, regardless of who we are and where we come from. I hope we live to create a world where everybody has access to basic rights. Inclusion starts with acceptance. So I hope we spend our time here learning how to accept. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Emmy Todd, and I am the president of Wooster Student Government Scott Council. And in true Wooster introduction fashion, my pronouns are she, her, hers. I am from South Carolina, a political science major, and a fun fact about me is that I was very nervous for this speech. We all came to Wooster for different reasons. Maybe you're on an athletic team, maybe you love the campus, or maybe you just really like bagpipes. But once we were here, we all started on a journey that would help us grow as people. For a long time before college, I never felt as though I had a strong sense of who I was. And I felt as though I was never being true to myself. Even when I was surrounded by my friends, I felt like I was never comfortable. I dreamed of Wooster as a place where I could go and just start all over, this time being more authentic. When I first arrived at Wooster, there was a gap in between arrival and classes and clubs beginning. It was easy to feel disconnected during that time, homesick even, something which was unexpected for me. I learned during that time and throughout my first year, as I became more comfortable on campus, that friendships and opportunities that felt authentic were something I needed to work towards. Building up Wooster as a dream where I could be anything I wanted would only take me so far, and I needed to commit myself to new experiences and people in order to make that dream a reality. Wooster has given me the opportunity to be the best version of myself, and when I fell short, when I failed a test and cried in my room about it, when I had to suddenly fly home, when I had fights with my friends, there were people who cared enough to pick me up, brush me off, and show up authentically with me. Over the 3 years here, despite the ups and downs, I found my best friends, connected with more people than I ever expected, and achieved the personal and academic successes I had dreamed of. The turning point for me to feel more authentic and comfortable was not one major moment, but a collection of small ones. Having someone yell my name on bell because they wanted to say hi, eating brunch every Sunday with friends from my roommate's arts group, being selected for a research position, acting as a mentor to my peers, eating ice cream late night with friends. But when reflecting on these experiences, I know that being authentic is a process, and it's something I'm still working on even today, and I'm sure I'll still be working on it long after Wooster. We all came to Wooster with some sense of who we are, some of us happy with it and some of us not. But these 4 years are designed to help you through figuring yourself out. In trying to be more authentic, I have found the most helpful path was through others. As a tour guide, I can talk endlessly and insufferably, I know, about Wooster's campus, academics, opportunities, and research. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the people. This may mean your friends or peers, or the faculty, staff, administration, or your counselor or your sports team. But we all have made or will make connections with someone who has made us feel at home at Wooster. I can look out on this crowd and see both familiar and unfamiliar faces, but I know that all of you have had an impact on Wooster and your classmates, and I know that those relationships have impacted you as well. We are a Wooster community, and we experienced hardships and triumphs together. We must support each other, we must support and respect each other in order to cultivate an environment that we all feel comfortable to be authentic in. I was recently speaking to alumnus, and they said something that really stuck with me. They said, one day you're going to be walking on campus during the fall, and you realize you're seeing the leaves change color for the last time. We all have experienced Wooster in different ways, but some things are universal and unite us into one community that makes the Wooster experience special. Savor this time at Wooster and take moments to observe the campus and people around you. We are all growing in our sense of who we are, authentic and still a work in progress at the same time. And I can't wait to see what we'll do and who we'll be during this year and beyond. Thank you.
Good morning, College of Wooster students. I'm over here. Good morning, first years. Good morning, seniors. My name is Laura Surratt, and I'm a member of the Department of Biology and also a Posse mentor. Go Posse. So it's my great honor and pleasure today to welcome you to the academic year on behalf of the faculty. We're so happy you're here, and we know it's been a really challenging past year and a half. So who are the faculty at the College of Wooster? Well, you know us, or you will get to know us as your instructors in classes, as your academic advisors, and your IS mentors. But we're also people just like you, and we have lives outside the classroom just like you. I know, shocking. And we have stories and lived experiences just like you. And we chose Wooster just like you. When I'm trying to get to know a student, a new student, I often ask them, why did you choose Wooster? So everybody, I invite you to take a moment to just think about what got you here. How did you decide to come to Wooster? Both faculty, staff, students, just think about that for a moment. So I can't speak on behalf of all the faculty, but the reason I came to the College of Wooster was because I would have the opportunity to get to know the students from their first years all the way through the graduation and beyond. I would get to watch them grow intellectually, professionally, and personally, and to provide them with support along the way. But what I've learned from being here is that the growth goes both ways. And Wooster grows and gets better as a result of each of you being here. So I invite you to bring your whole selves to our learning community here at Wooster. Bring your life experiences, your talents, your skills, your knowledge, your passions, and your personalities. And let your faculty to get to know you as people and not just as students in our classes. Each of your lived experiences is different from everyone else's and shapes the way you see the world, the interests you have, and the questions you're interested in. If you're willing to share your perspectives in the classroom, we'll all have a richer learning experience and we'll stretch our knowledge in new directions. We also understand that there's a lot going on in the world right now and that your life experiences outside the classroom are continuing during your time at Wooster. At times, these life experiences, whether personal or societal, can influence your ability to concentrate and focus on your classwork. We understand this. If this happens to you, please let us know so that we can either help you or help connect you with other people or resources that can help you. One way I like to check in on how my students are doing and let them know they're not alone in their feelings is to use an anonymous online survey where I just ask, how are you doing? And how is this class going for you? Where everyone can see the results. So I'm going to ask you to try this now. So everyone take a moment to consider, how are you doing? How are you feeling about this academic year? And I was wondering if you can make some noise if you're feeling excited. Clap or shout if you're feeling excited. Faculty, staff, students. Okay, good. What about nervous or anxious? Yeah. Overwhelmed? Happy? Yeah. So you're not alone in how you're feeling. However you're feeling, there's other people feeling the same way. I, like Emmy, was pretty nervous getting ready to give this speech, as I've never done anything like this before. So one way I thought to handle it was to go to my comfort zone, which is talking about science, which I do a lot of. So it'll be brief. But as I wrap up, I want to discuss one of the life lessons I've learned from being a scientist. As with many fields, people trained as scientists are interested in understanding how the world works. We typically come up with an educated guess, which we call a hypothesis, and then we use the hypothesis to generate testable predictions. We design a study and collect data, and then we analyze the data to see if they're consistent with our predictions. In this data analysis step, we are looking for patterns, relationships between variables, or differences between groups. But often, even when we see a pattern, there are usually some data points that don't follow the pattern. In fact, they fall well outside of the pattern. We call these outliers. You might have heard of them before. And some scientists use a variety of justifications for eliminating outliers from their data sets. But through many years of being a scientist, I've realized I love the outliers because they've driven me to go back to the drawing board, to rethink my assumptions, and reframe my hypothesis of how the world works. In other words, outliers in my data have pushed me to learn more, to ask new questions, and to question my assumptions. Of course, that's always somewhat uncomfortable, but with the discomfort comes real growth. So as part of the Wooster learning community, I invite you to embrace those moments when you feel like an outlier, where you might be thinking things that are different from your fellow students or your instructors, or pushing your fellow students and faculty to ask new questions and rethink our assumptions. And I invite you to value these outlier traits in others in your learning community. You may want to alternate these brave moments with visits to your comfort zone, like I'm doing with talking about science. But on behalf of the faculty at Wooster, I want to encourage and empower you to expand those comfort zones as well. And finally, like Erin before me, I wanted to end with acknowledgments and appreciation. First, I'd like to acknowledge that our learning community exists on land that was formerly occupied by indigenous peoples who were displaced from this land, and that people around the world continue to be displaced from their lands or to live in communities in which their well-being is threatened. Second, I'd like to acknowledge the workers who built the College of Wooster and the staff who continue every day to provide the support that allows our community to thrive. And lastly, I wanted to ask you to take a moment, maybe just close your eyes or like go into a meditative mode and appreciate yourselves for showing up here, for all that you do, all that you are, all that you bring. And then extend that gratitude to your loved ones and supporters, the people who are helping support you, say paying for college. Oops, don't need those. Okay. And finally, extend your gratitude to your broader community and to all living things. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Paul Sealing. I work here on campus in the Office of Alumni and Family Engagement, and I'm speaking to you today in my role as co-chair of Wooster's Staff Committee, a role I share with Kate Gulata and a committee made up of staff from across all divisions of the college. I want to echo the other speakers in welcoming you, students, faculty, and staff, to this new school year. Typically, when I think about Convocation, I imagine it to be a forward-thinking event, the opening of a new school year with our eyes set ahead on what is to come over the next 9 months. But this year, I don't want to too quickly look ahead without taking a moment to recognize what we've been through together as a community to get to where we are today. Last year, all of us had our expectations, plans, and experiences greatly impacted by COVID and by changes that were made to keep us safe. Your work as students changed, and the work of college employees, the faculty, and staff also shifted quite dramatically, changing from the normal way things had been done and often adapting to a virtual context. The way you all persevered was extraordinary. While many of us moved into mostly virtual context, I feel it is important to take a couple minutes to recognize the staff who continued their work here on campus to carry us through to where we are today. If you'll look to your right, you'll see the campus power plant, which is staffed by a few of the many facilities and operations staff who keep the power on, important systems running, and the campus in good repair. Directly below you, underneath your seats, are the offices of the grounds crew, who, pandemic or not, keep the campus beautiful and safe through all seasons and all types of weather. Turn your head now to the left. You can see a little bit of Lowry Center, where the dining staff kept you fed every day, every meal, and now continue to do so even amid jackhammers. The Scott Center in front of you was the location of a huge COVID testing operation managed by our athletics staff and others from around campus. Many other offices and buildings around campus were staffed, sometimes by a lone employee, to keep essential functions running. And all of these spaces were maintained and kept clean and attractive by our hardworking custodial staff. These staff members, and I regret I don't have time to recognize them more completely, but these staff members and their work quite literally surround us. But we don't always take the time to recognize and applaud their contribution to Wooster. I invite you now to join me in applause to show our gratitude for those staff. But as I said earlier, Convocation is a chance to look forward together to the new year. So to the students seated here, I want to encourage you, as others have, to take full advantage of your time here. I encourage you to learn as much as you can. We are, after all, a community of learners. A statement which leads us to ask, who are our teachers? And while you will learn so much from the wonderful faculty and professors who teach your classes, learning only in the classroom will leave you with an incomplete education. I ask you to broaden your view of who your teachers will be this year. As you look around this stadium, all who surround you can be your teachers if you take the opportunity. Take the time to get to know your fellow students, your faculty, and as I am here as the staff representative, I'll emphasize, take the time to connect with the staff who surround you every day. We have received training and education for the jobs we have on campus, and we want to share with you. We have a huge variety of life experiences, and when you get to know us, you may find similarities to your own experiences and a sympathetic ear, but you will also find that some of the staff around you have led very different lives from you, and it will require you to develop empathy as you learn a new perspective. These times of learning, the ones that happen outside of your classes, will happen in staff offices, in hallways, with your coaches, the supervisor of your student job, the custodian who cleans your residence hall, the dining staff who prepare your meals, and staff from all across this campus. And so, in closing, I encourage you again to recognize all those who make this campus function smoothly. Thank them, be kind to them, and learn from them, for they too are your teachers. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. We know it's hot, so thank you. Welcome back, class of 2022, and a warm welcome to the faculty, staff, and underclassmen here to bring in the new year.
My name is Rondell.
And I'm 7, and we are here on behalf of the NAACP and the Black Student Association.
We are honored to have been asked to speak at this year's convocation. Now we are sure that you all are expecting a dragged-out speech about the many adversities and hardships we have all experienced throughout COVID-19, but we're not going to do that this year.
Instead, we will speak about how we can use our experiences these past 3 years to propel us forward, what it means to truly make your mark on this campus, and to ensure that we enjoy every moment that we have with our friends, teammates, classmates, and the Wooster community.
Seniors, I want you to take a moment to sit back and reflect. We are the only class to complete a full year on Wooster's campus. This is vital as we move forward and navigate through our last year at the College of Wooster. Being a leader on campus can hold a lot of pressure, but it is our job as the vets to reestablish and cultivate Wooster's culture so that many after us are proud to call Wooster home.
Underclassmen, I encourage you to take advantage of every opportunity that Wooster has to offer you. Move through your time here with grace and allow yourself to flourish into the well-rounded individuals that you were destined to be. I understand that you may not know where you are headed just yet, but I promise your experiences here at Wooster will prepare you for whatever you have in mind. As long as you seek help when you need it, utilize the many resources here available on campus, and continue to always think in new and innovative ways. Remember, we are the future.
With that being said, here's something to look forward to while embarking on your journey here at Wooster. What better way to highlight the contributions Wooster has on shaping us into leaders than to speak about Seven and I's friendship and journey here at Wooster.
Rondell and I came to campus in the fall of 2018 with much in common, including the goal of one day leading Black organizations on campus. As Africana Studies majors, we knew early on that our commitment to equity, justice, and inclusion was way bigger than just thinking about it. We were going to do something about it. While working alongside fellow students, faculty, and President Bolton, we have succeeded in reestablishing the NAACP on campus, pushed initiatives towards a more diverse hiring process, assisted in the institution of equitable security protocols, organized community meetings and protests for the mistreatment of Black faculty and staff, and co-founded the Black Student Equity Fund, which serves as a source of financial assistance for Black students here at the college. You do not receive compensation for being a student advocate. And with being on the women's volleyball team, taking classes, and working a few jobs, I wouldn't have been able to stay afloat if it wasn't for Rondell and his endless support.
Let's be clear. Seven and I are committed individuals, and with all of our accolades and activism, it took time, effort, consistency, and community. Our pathways have aligned during our time spent here, which then led two strangers to become best friends. We bonded over our commonalities and shared passions to advocate for Black and marginalized groups on campus. I am grateful for her because in difficult times we had each other. I also would like to express that we struggled to navigate our student lives. I don't want to paint a perfect picture or seem as though our road was not bumpy. Seven and I were often faced with making hard decisions, one of them being if we should prioritize our activism or academics. The decision may seem easy right now, but when a decision affects the identity shift you worked so diligently to discover, it can be tough. Community is important. Friendships are important. It's hard to find someone that makes you feel a sense of belonging and offer a source of strength in the face of adversity.
Now, I bet you are wondering, where do I fit in all of this? Well, I now ask all of you to think of a time where you had to step up as a leader while being a student at the college. Or think of that one friend, or many, that has gotten you through hard times. Our story is not much different than yours. I ask that you consider how those experiences has helped in guiding you to this point, and how they will continue to assist you in taking on the year ahead of us.
Okay, enough of the mushy stuff. Let's establish some collective goals. For one, I would like us all to promise ourselves to continue searching for that one thing. Whatever that thing is, may it light a fire within us. Commit yourself to it. Nurture it. Cherish it. It will become something that propels you forward, but don't let that dedication to it exhaust your flame in which you have no fire left.
Together, let's have a great year filled with unforgettable memories and moments we will cherish forever. Let's make sure to support one another as we embark on this milestone in our lives and leave a legacy for the people who will come after us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rondell and Seven, and all of our wonderful speakers, and thanks to all of you for being here today. It's now my honor and pleasure to invite the Scott Pipers to come forward as I declare the 2021-2022 school year, the 152nd school year here at the College of Wooster, officially open. Woo! I wish all of you a wonderful year and look forward to the journeys that we'll travel together. As the Scott Pipers begin to play, we will gradually start the recession here from the stage, and then faculty, we will have your photo up there in the amphitheater, and seniors, we wish you a wonderful journey and a great last year here at the college. Thank you, Scott Pipers. Thank you, speakers. Thank you, everyone. Welcome to the year, and go Scots.